Welcome to my new series called Why You Should Use, and in this case, Rotom. Well, Rotom has some incredible things to offer for you and for your team, especially the high natural bulk and the high special attack. If we hop into Pokemon Showdown right now, we can see the base stats and the blistering 107 defense and special defense and the 105 special attack. And in this case, Rotom is a very interesting Pokemon because he only has one weakness in terms of grass, and it's really easy for you to cover this, because you have 5 other Pokemon who can cover the grass weakness. In terms of flexibility, Rotom is very flexible to use, because you can either go with a lefty set or any choice item you would like to run, for example choice Scarf into Trick, or choice Specs into Volt Switch, or you can run the standard support Rotom with Will-O-Wisp or Thunder Wave if you like the speed control, where you could, for example, switch Volt Switch into Thunder Wave. There we go, Thunder Wave. I'd always stick with a Thunderbolt because it's your main step, and with some decent EVs you can deal massive damage while having incredible bulk. And in this case, with my Rotoms, which I use on my Battle Spot teams for example, or in Showdown, I always go with a modest nature because of the incredible bulk we have. And I always think about you should reinforce the things you really need, for example the base, 50 HP, and increase this to have some better bulk, and go with the best damage you can have to either surprise the opponent, because most of the people use standard defense Rotom, for example like this. Since you have Will-O-Wisp, you don't really need all the defense investment and can go with a special defense, and maybe like this, and the nature, here we go, to have some like interesting special defense wall. But since we already have a very good special defense and defense, I normally would stick with a modest nature and the full investment into special attack, and drop the 6 IVs into any defense slot you would fit your team better. Okay. The next thing you should know about Rotom is that it nearly fits onto every team because of its flexibility. It can also form a very nice Volt-Turn core with regenerator Pokemon, for example Shao, or Slowking, Slowbro, or any other interesting regenerator Pokemon. And for example, if you're using Rotom in double battles, it's interesting to have the supporting options on him, for example a Thunder Wave or Will-O-Wisp. He also has some interesting Gen 5 tutor moves, for example the Pain Split, where you can do some real shenanigans in the game and surprise your opponent because nobody else runs it. Another form of Rotom which has proven itself in battle is the Rotom-Heat form, which is more like the offensive version of Rotom, I'd say, because it has more weaknesses, but it feels like with its Overheat ability, it can deal massive damage from a very good 339 special attack stat. Of course, you can also stick with the Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisping options, but in this case, for Rotom-Heat, I would prefer a Volt Switch to deal some damage while switching out to negate the especially tech drop you have with Overheat. And just for the sake of having a counter, for example Charizard Y, or any other flying water type Pokemon you could encounter in your battles, the Thunderbolt, because of the sheer power it offers you. Of course, Rotom-Heat is also a very good user of Will-O-Wisp. And for item options we already had the lefties, the choice items, or the Chesto set, which I will come now. If we check the Rotom Wash again and go for the Chesto Berry set, we can start with a rest. We can take the Will-O-Wisp option again to get rid of physical attackers, and we can stick with our Thunderbolt and Hydro Pump because of the damage it offers you. And with the Chesto Resto set I would prefer to run a mixed tank set, for example, something like this. I'd always stick with a Calm Nature. Yeah.